Imagine that you're trying to create an app and you just don't know where to start. You're trying to find the right developer, you're trying to learn it yourself, you just don't know where to begin. Here are the 4 steps in order to find the right kind of no-code developer for your next no-code project. Here are the 4 steps we're going to be talking about in this video. Number 1, how to create a goal. 2, the right framework to get the right developer. 3, the pricing tier. And 4, the deliverables that you're going to be needing. Now, as we go through this, I'm also going to be showing you my favorite platform to use to find the right developer at the end of this video. So let's get right into it. The first thing is how to create a goal for your no-code project. This is really important because if you're going to be taking the time to be building out this application and you're going to be talking to different ones that you're going to be paying, you need to first have a goal and understand what you're going to be needing long-term for this application. So what I do is I plan out my main goal right here. This is an example that we've had for one of our clients, and this is what it's written. It says, users will be able to look at a list of wine and favorite their favorite wines in their account. That's going to be the main purpose of the application. The user is going to find a selection of wines and be able to favorite. And then it says they will need to have their own profile for the app. Another thing that we might add for the goal is now they'll be able to find or save their favorite wines, right? So now we have a clear goal of what the application is going to look like. The next part is trying to figure out the right pages, what the app is going to do, all those things. That's where point number 2 comes in, creating the framework or standard operating procedures of what the app is going to do. Now, you can do this with a lot of different platforms. You can use Marketplan, Sketch, the list goes on and on. I use Marketplan because it allows you to build out simple pages for you to build the narrative, build out what the user journey will look like. And every app has their own user journey. For example, Instagram, at first, it was the user would be able to take pictures and add a filter and then send it to share it, right? So it would be the user has to come in, be able to open their camera, take a picture, add a filter, and then afterwards they can post it on their platform or share it with friends, right? So it's a narrative of what the person is going to be doing on the platform. The same way that we can do this with Marketplan, and just we gave an example of the wine example. This is what it would look like for the wine app that we had actually for one of our clients, right? So this is what it looked like. I'm going to put the main goal up here. So we needed the user to log in because they need to have their own account. Then the user would have a homepage to be able to review all the wines. They would be able to click on each wine to learn more about the wine and be able to favorite the wine that they found. And they would need to have a favorite page so they can look at all of their favorites. So right here, we're looking at 4 different screens. We would need to have a login screen, a home page to see all the wine, and then 2 pages, one for the favoriting of all the wines, and then a wine detail page. So that's just an example of breaking down what you'll need. Now, you don't have to be perfect at this. It's just giving you an idea to logically walk through what will be needed with your application. How will it work? And you can be doing that with Marketplan, or if you want to get more detail and prototype and just go a little bit crazier or more granular, you can even use something like Sketch or Figma. But this allows you to build out what you want in your app, and then you'll be able to articulate it. You'll be able to be detailed enough when you find the right developer for you to be able to explain your idea and they can be on the same page. Also, this is really helpful because if you build this out and create a video for the developer, this will save you tons of time during the initial call. You'll be able to save time, and especially if you're interviewing multiple developers, you won't feel overwhelmed trying to explain it over and over again. You can create a concise idea of your app and see if they're the right fit even before you jump on a consulting call with them to begin with. So we reviewed setting a goal, creating a framework. The next thing that's really crucial is having a pricing tier for your work, for the application you're trying to build. Now, this is really important because tons of people will first say, well, I want it to be as cheap as possible. I just want to find the cheapest person to do it. Just keep in mind, if you're racing to the bottom for price, you get what you pay for, right? So you have to really think about how detailed is this application? What are you willing to spend? And do you have the money to invest in a really good app right now? Do you want to hire a student? And if you are going to hire a student at a university or someone that is not as experienced, you also have to be willing to compromise on some things, because either they can't build it as fast as you want because they're learning, or it might not be as professional. And that's just something that you're going to have to think about for yourself. So that pricing tier, where are you right now? Do you have the money to invest? And if it's under $500, to have a good application is pretty it's going to be really hit or miss a lot of times, because under $500, at least it's going to be a student or someone that is inexperienced or just not very good. So that's something that you're going to have to weigh out. Perhaps that $500, can you take the time to build the version 1 or the MVP, the minimal viable product, before you now take it to someone? And along with this, have you validated? Are you getting money for people that are willing to pay for you? And people are like, well, I can't get money if it's not built. Pre-orders. If people aren't even willing to invest in your idea, maybe it's not as concrete as you thought. Our students, the tried and true method is we sell it before we build it. We need to validate that people are willing to pay for it with their real money, and not just say, oh, that's a great idea. When it's built, I'll come back. Because no, that's just you're relying on a hope and a prayer. You need to see if they're willing to really pay you. And if you get a certain amount of pre-orders, then you can go and then pay what you need to develop this app. So something to consider with your pricing tier. Where are you? And if it's less than $500, do you have the time to learn Flutterflow or Softr or Bubble in order to make this a reality? Something to consider. Okay, now we're going to be going to point number 4, outlining the deliverables you need and why it's important. This is the most important step, I believe, because so many times people talk about their app, they really get passionate, but sometimes you get so much into the weeds of the application that articulating it or expressing it to the developer that you hire, they might not be able to decipher what functions are important and what's not, and then they get just bogged down, and then you get an app that it's like it didn't hit the mark. It's really important that you write out what would the 1 to 3 deliverables you need and why. So why do we talk about 1 to 3 deliverables? Depending on the app, you should really focus on one main thing. What should the app be known for? We talked about Instagram a moment ago. You need to have your app known for something. So most apps, almost all apps, when it's version 1 or the MVP, it's only going to do one thing really well. And that's okay, because then you can grow on from there. You need to make sure that functionality works. And so that deliverable, what is it? For example, the main goal of the app for the wine app that we're looking at, the framework here, would be looking at a selection of wine and favoriting, like having it to be able to favorite. That's the main thing. There are tons of other things that the client wanted later on, including having different vendors, doing all these things. But at the end of the day, they needed one page scroll of all the wines and for someone to favorite it, and that's it. So what does your deliverable look like? Really layer what you're trying to do for your application, and then go from there. Write it down. And, in the comment section down below, let us know what questions you have. Have you really broken down what's the one deliverable for your app? And if you have trouble with this, ask a friend to listen to your idea, and maybe that will help you brainstorm, or look at very specific apps that you love and think about their very first version. You can Google search what their app originally looked like or what it was known for, and really lean it down. Make it one deliverable, and then just have the extras off to the side. You need to really focus on one deliverable to start with, and then you can go up a little bit. But remember, MVP, one deliverable. It's also important that you explain why it's important, because you might be thinking about it in a very singular way, but the developer or others might describe it in a way that it still accomplishes your goal. So if they understand why it's so important, they could say, oh, I understand why it's important. Have you considered the X, Y, and Z? And maybe you haven't, or maybe you have, but it's important to have those options so you can, again, understand what you can be doing with your application and get closer. Now, we mentioned there are tons of different ways that you can find experts. And depending on what platform you're using, there are different expert programs such as Flutterflow, Softr. You can go with AirDev for a bubble. The list goes on and on. And there are tons of different experts that you can be looking at. And we've used quite a few or talked to or have a good relationship. Now, the next question is, how do you find the right person for you? Well, remember, we went through the 4 steps. So you can decide, you can already do the 4 steps we need to work with. Eric is awesome from Flywheel Studio. We work with him. So that's just one example. But think about what you need to be doing. And by the way, we have a whole interview with Eric as well. We'll put a link down below for you to check it out. That's what you need to do to hire the right no-code developer. Now, what platform would I use or how would I find the right expert? I'll tell you the truth. That's why we build our own. That's why we have Docs Connection to help you with your no-code and tech problems. You can ask us, we ask you, what are you struggling with? What are you trying to build? And then we connect you with other experts that build with Softr, Builder, Flutterflow, the list goes on and on. But even if you don't use Docs Connections, you can use the 4 steps to find the right person on whatever platform that you're using. And this is really important because this will make you more successful when you launch your application, but you'll have a better relationship with the developer. You're going to find the right developer, and you'll have a better experience, a positive experience if you go this route and you actually do these steps before you contact someone, because this allows you to be in the right frame of mind, the right, just everything, the right deliverables to do this. Now, if you're interested in having a beginner's guide how to hire the ideal client, you're on the other side, you're learning how to use Flutterflow or all these tools, and you want to know all the things, the pitfalls for us being a freelancer and how we created our agency, let me know. I might do a follow-up video on the developer side to make sure you get the ideal client as well. If you like these videos, make sure that you like and subscribe. We do this every single week, and we'll see you in the next video.